In the name of Allah, in this lecture, we will talk about the types of insulators used in overhead transmission lines. I have previously mentioned that the conductor is the main component of the overhead transmission line, and we have learned that the main function of the insulator string is to carry or support the conductor and to insulate it from the ground. However, it is important to understand that in overhead lines, the air surrounding the conductor is also utilized as an insulating medium. And since air is an insulating medium, it behaves like any other type of insulator, meaning that the insulation of air will break down if the voltage exceeds a certain value. For example, in the case of oil, the insulation of oil breaks down when the voltage exceeds 80 kilovolts per centimeter, whereas in the case of air, the insulation of air breaks down when the voltage exceeds 30 kilovolts per centimeter. This means that if we have 2 points in air separated by a distance of 1 centimeter, and the voltage between these 2 points exceeds 30 kilovolts, the air between them will become conductive. Therefore, the tower is designed with specific dimensions, and insulators are used to ensure a safe distance between conductors, between the conductors and the tower structure, and between the conductors and the ground. As I mentioned earlier, the insulators used in overhead transmission lines consist of a number of discs or units, and of course, the number of discs in each insulator string depends on the voltage level. Hence, we can understand that the higher the voltage, the greater the number of discs in the insulator string, meaning that the total length of the insulator string will be longer. Approximately, the number of discs in a single insulator string for each voltage level is as follows. For a voltage of 66 kilovolts, the insulator string contains approximately 6 discs. For a voltage of 132 kilovolts, the insulator string contains 10 discs. For a voltage of 220 kilovolts, the insulator string contains approximately 12 discs. And for a voltage of 500 kilovolts, the insulator string contains approximately 24 discs. The second important point is that if the mechanical load on the insulator string is large, in this case, 2 insulator strings are used in parallel to carry the conductors, as shown in the figure in front of us. However, we must understand a very important point. These insulators are considered the main weak point in overhead transmission lines. This is, of course, due to the ease with which dust accumulates on the surface of these insulators. It is important to know that the presence of dust, especially when accompanied by humidity, creates an easy path for the leakage current to flow from the conductor, which carries electrical voltage, to the ground through the tower body. Therefore, regular maintenance and cleaning of these insulators are extremely important. Accordingly, we must understand that these insulators have 2 main functions. The first function is electrical, which is to provide complete electrical insulation between the conductors or wires of the overhead line and the tower structure. The second function is mechanical, which is to carry, support, or hold the conductors or electrical wires firmly on the transmission line towers along the entire line route. Next, we will talk about the types of insulators. We will begin with the types of insulators according to their design shape. The first type of insulators from a design point of view is the cap and pin insulators. This type can be made of porcelain or glass. The most important advantage of the cap and pin insulator is that any damaged disc or unit in the insulator string can be easily replaced. The second advantage of cap and pin insulators is that they are suitable for all voltage levels up to 500 kilovolts. And as I mentioned before, as the voltage increases, we can increase the number of discs in the insulator string accordingly. The insulator string, as shown in the figure in front of us, is formed by connecting or interlocking the pin of the first disc into the cap of the second disc, and so on for all the discs in the string in sequence. The second type of insulator, according to its design shape, is the long rod insulator. This type can be made of porcelain or silicone rubber. This type is commonly used in bushing insulators for transformers or cables, as well as in most high voltage substation equipment in general. The third type of insulator is the pin type insulator only. This type is used only for medium voltage levels, approximately up to 33 kilovolts. Next, we will talk about the classification or types of insulators according to the material from which they are made. These include porcelain insulators, glass insulators, and silicone rubber insulators. The first type is the porcelain insulators. Many people refer to them as porcelain insulators or ceramic insulators. The most important features of porcelain insulators are as follows. They have a high electrical insulation strength, provided that the insulator is pure and free from any pores, impurities, or air bubbles during manufacturing. The dielectric strength or electric field intensity of these insulators is approximately 60 kilovolts per centimeter. Porcelain insulators can withstand thermal stresses caused by various weather conditions as well as thermal stresses resulting from partial discharge to a large extent. It can also be observed that porcelain insulators can endure high mechanical stresses. Therefore, when a porcelain insulator breaks, it does not shatter completely but rather splits into large pieces. However, one of the disadvantages of porcelain insulators is that when they are exposed to pollution and in the presence of humidity, leakage currents will flow over their surface. This, of course, leads to partial discharge and may eventually cause a flashover. As mentioned earlier, porcelain insulators are used in the form of cap and pin insulators, long rod insulators, and pin-type insulators. The second type of insulators is the glass insulators. Among the most important advantages of glass insulators are the following. They possess a high dielectric strength or electric field intensity that can reach up to 140 kilovolts per centimeter. The glass insulator can withstand compressive strength and mechanical tensile strength comparable to that of porcelain insulators. One of the most significant advantages of glass insulators is that they are transparent, which allows for easy detection of any impurities, gas bubbles, or cracks within the body of the insulator. These insulators are also transparent to thermal solar radiation, which means that the temperature effect on these insulators is less than that on porcelain insulators. Another important advantage of glass insulators is that if they are subjected to any mechanical impact, they will completely shatter, making it very easy to identify and locate the fault along the overhead transmission line. However, the main disadvantage of these insulators is the ease of moisture or water vapor accumulation on their surface. Unfortunately, the presence of moisture combined with dust leads to the formation of leakage current paths, resulting in partial discharge and possibly a flashover. Therefore, as much as possible, the use of these insulators should be avoided in humid environments or in areas where high humidity levels exist continuously. Another disadvantage of glass insulators is that severe thermal stresses caused by weather conditions and partial discharge may lead to the formation of cracks inside the insulator body, which weakens the mechanical strength of the insulator. Additionally, one of the disadvantages of glass insulators is that when they break, they shatter into very small pieces, which means they can withstand lower mechanical stresses compared to porcelain insulators. However, toughened or tempered glass insulators can withstand mechanical stresses approximately twice as high as those of porcelain insulators. Of course, glass insulators are manufactured only in the cap and pin type form. The third type of insulators is the silicone rubber insulators. Among the most important advantages of silicone rubber insulators are the following. They are light in weight. They are unbreakable and resistant to cracking, unlike porcelain or glass insulators. They are not affected by pollution. However, the most distinctive feature of silicone rubber insulators, which makes them superior to all other types of insulators, is their hydrophobic property or water repellent property. This means that the pollution layer on their surface does not get wetted. It is important to understand that this hydrophobic property provides these insulators with excellent electrical insulation strength. This is because there is no contact between water or moisture and the pollution or dust present on the insulator surface, which makes it very difficult for leakage current paths to form and therefore prevents any partial discharge or flashover from occurring. Additionally, silicone rubber insulators can withstand high mechanical stresses because their core or rod is made of fiberglass. However, one of the most important disadvantages of silicone rubber insulators is the aging problem. This occurs due to chemical changes that take place in the insulators after being exposed for long periods to ultraviolet, UV, radiation from sunlight, as well as to severe sandstorms and chemical pollutants in the surrounding environment. All these factors negatively affect the efficiency of these insulators and lead to their aging and degradation. It is also important to understand that industrial emissions and carbon exhausts can chemically react with the polymer material, causing breakdown of the internal bonds and the carbon chain structure. As a result, this deterioration affects the most important property of silicone rubber insulators, the hydrophobic or water repellent property. Of course, insulators made of silicone rubber are only of the long rod type. We have already learned that the major problem threatening overhead line insulators is pollution, and we have also seen the advantages and importance of silicone rubber insulators in overcoming this problem. Now we need to understand what the solution is for porcelain and glass insulators, which both suffer from pollution issues. The solution is the use of a material called RTV, which stands for room temperature vulcanizing silicone. This material is applied as a coating to the surface of electrical insulators, either glass or porcelain. RTV is a polymeric material characterized by its hydrophobic property, meaning that it can repel water from the surface of the insulator even if the surface is contaminated with dust. In other words, coating the insulators with RTV makes them behave similarly to silicone rubber insulators, and therefore significantly reduces the problems associated with pollution and flashover. Now let us discuss the main faults that may occur in overhead line insulators. The first fault is insulator breakage. Breakage can occur due to mechanical impacts such as throwing stones at the insulators or due to weather conditions such as lightning strikes. It can also result from corrosion or cracks in the metallic fittings of the insulator string. The second and most serious fault is the electrical insulation breakdown, which can occur due to the following reasons. First, high voltage surges caused by lightning strokes or switching operations, especially in the absence of corona rings, as explained earlier. Second, heavy pollution on the insulator surface, which may result from atmospheric dust or from industrial emissions such as those from cement factories. It is important to understand that pollution in general contains a high percentage of salts. When these salts and contaminants accumulate on the surface of the insulator and are combined with moisture, fog, or rain, an electrical path is created between the overhead line conductor and the tower body through the discs of the insulator string. Unfortunately, this leads to the breakdown of the insulator string and the occurrence of partial discharge. However, it should be noted that partial discharge does not always lead to the complete breakdown of the insulator string unless it is accompanied by extremely high temperatures. Therefore, it is very important to pay attention to the installation of corona rings and guard rings, and in a separate lecture we will explain the difference between them. It is also essential to carry out regular and continuous cleaning of these insulators to prevent the accumulation of dust or salts, thereby avoiding any partial discharge or flashover from occurring. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next lecture.